Hello there, I'm Ras Adibaradzi and you're tuned into 7 Edition. Let's take a look at tonight's headlines. Datuk Sri Najib and Tan Sri Irwan Serega expected to be arrested and charged on Thursday. Government opens door to German automakers for third national car project. And Turkey claims Khashoggi's murder was planned in advance. Assalamualaikum, and it's good to see you again. Former Prime Minister Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak and former Treasury Secretary General Tan Sri Irwan Serega Abdullah will be summoned to the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC tomorrow to assist investigations into the debt settlement between One Malaysia Development Berhad, 1MDB and Abu Dhabi Wealth Fund, International Petroleum Investment Company IPIC. It was also believed that both will be arrested and brought to the courts on Thursday to face charges. According to sources, both Datuk Sri Najib and Tan Sri Irwan Serega were issued notices to be present at the Commission's headquarters in Putrajaya at 2 p.m. The Pekan MP had already been summoned by the MACC twice, with the first on October 16th, where he was quizzed for 6 hours and again 2 days later. Datuk Sri Najib is expected to face at least 4 charges in connection with the 2017 debt settlement between 1MDB and IPIC. It was triggered after 1MDB defaulted on a bond payment in 2016 that was guaranteed by IPIC, which later referred the dispute to the London Court of Arbitration. A settlement was then reached in 2017 by the Finance Ministry to pay $1.2 billion to IPIC in 2 tranches, while the principal amount of $3.5 billion debt is still outstanding. Now, the Public Accounts Committee, PAC, will begin a fresh probe into the scandal-ridden 1MDB on Monday. Its chairman, Datuk Sri Dr. Ronald Kiandi, said former Auditor General Tan Sri Amrin Buang would be summoned as the first witness to appear before the committee. He said this after a PAC meeting with former Treasury Secretary General Tan Sri Dr. Muhammad Irwan Serega in Parliament earlier today.
1MDB is, we haven't started, we're going to start with my colleague Tan Sri Amrin, our first witness. So we have a list of some 20 witnesses. 20 witnesses.
When will the 1MDB proceedings start?
On Monday, 29 I think, yeah. Start with Tan Sri Amrin. Yeah. So it's going to be a long proceeding.
Datuk Sri Ronald also said the proceeding will involve a total of 20 witnesses who will be summoned to testify. He added the committee was also expected to conclude its probe into the shortfall of the Good and Services Tax GST refunds amounting to 19.4 billion ringgit by the end of the ongoing Parliament sitting. On to the Dewan Rakyat sitting, the government no longer sees a need to set up a tribunal to probe alleged misconduct by the Election Commission EC in the run-up to and during the 14th general election. This following the appointment of the new EC chairman Azhar Azizan Harun and the premature departure of 5 commission members that would take effect in January next year. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Datuk Liew Vui Kiong, told lawmakers today that Azhar was already carrying out improvements to the Commission.
SPR pada masa ini sedang menjalankan satu proses pembaharuan di mana satu era yang baru akan dipimpin oleh yang berbahagia Tuan Harun yang merupakan pengurusi SPR yang baru ini, dan saya yakin bahawa beliau akan menambahbaikkan lagi proses SPR dan juga memberi idea-idea untuk mereformkan SPR dan juga menyelesaikan masalah-masalah yang terdahulu.
He added among the issues involving the EC included Form 14, which officiates the final vote count, accountability, phantom voters and redelineation of electoral boundaries. Datuk Liew also noted that these issues were being looked into through election petitions, with some already dismissed by the court. The government has published an e-book guide for self-migration for the lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender LGBT people to return to the right path. This was revealed to MPs by Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Datuk Seri Dr. Mujahid Yusof Rawa in the Dewan Rakyat today.
Kita juga telah menerbitkan e-book Panduan Hijrah Diri. Bagi mereka yang mengalami permasalahan ini, boleh dimuat turun di Google Play Store buku hadis sahih berkenaan perlakuan LGBT serta risalah memahami LGBT daripada perspektif seorang Muslim.
Responding to a question by Bagan Dato' MP Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi on efforts by the government to tackle the LGBT issue, Datuk Seri Dr. Mujahid reiterated that the LGBT lifestyle would not be accepted in the country. However, the Malaysian Islamic Development Department, JAKIM, has taken the initiative to help the LGBT community with various programs. The government was also discussing with several employment agencies to help provide work opportunities for the community.
Timbalan Speaker, Setiawangsa nak bertanya kepada
Singapore Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong is scheduled to meet Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad in Putrajaya next month at a leaders' retreat. According to the Straits Times, which quoted Lee, the meeting is to take place about 10 days after Tun Dr. Mahathir visited Singapore for the ASEAN Summit, which would take place over a period of 5 days from November 11th. Lee also reportedly said that Singapore's relations with Malaysia were stable. Lee was quoted as saying that the high-speed rail HSR was an issue previously, but both sides have worked out a 2-year deferment for the HSR project, and this was a constructive resolution to what could have been a spiky dispute. Lee was in Putrajaya on May 19th, meeting with Tun Dr. Mahathir for the first time since the latter was sworn in again as Prime Minister on May 10th. Two teenagers who are best friends were charged at the Selayang Magistrates Court with raping a 13-year-old girl. The duo, both aged 15, allegedly raped the girl at 2 different locations around Gombak in July and September this year. The two teenagers pleaded not guilty. The proceedings were held in a closed court as the case involves juveniles. If found guilty, they face imprisonment of up to 20 years and whipping. The court allowed bail at 2,500 ringgit each and set November 21st for re-mention of the case. Elsewhere in Pahang, two friends pleaded not guilty to a charge of raping a minor last week. 20-year-old Muhammad Arif Naziri and Muhammad Izwan Muhammad Kamaruddin, age 18, made that plea at the Kuantan Sessions Court after the charge under the Penal Code was read before Judge Siti Aminah Ghazali. Both accused, who were very unrepresented, were charged with raping the 15-year-old victim in a room at Felda Keratung 1 at about 1 p.m. last week. The penalty is a jail term of between 5 and 20 years and possible caning upon conviction. The court set bail at 7,000 ringgit each with one surety and set November 26 for re-mention of the case. A 24-year-old foreigner, the key suspect in the hit-and-run case in Cyberjaya, has been remanded again for 5 days from today. The new remand order was issued by Sepang Magistrate Yusna Khadijah Muhammad Yusof to assist police investigation under the Penal Code for murder. Previously, the Libyan man was remanded for 4 days and later on extended another day to facilitate a probe into the hit-and-run incident under the Road Transport Act. Also remanded were his 3 friends, a 20-year-old man also from Libya, a 22-year-old man from Yemen and a local Sabah woman. However, the trio have been released on police bail. It was believed that the main suspect was behind the wheels of the vehicle, which mowed down TM staff Wan Amira Wan Alias when she was crossing a road at Shaftesbury Square last Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. The 31-year-old victim was dragged for several meters along the road. She suffered serious injuries and was taken to the Putrajaya hospital, where she died the following day. On October 19th, all 4 suspects were picked up at the Pusat Bandar Putra Permai, Sri Kembangan and Symphony Hills, Cyberjaya to assist the probe into the incident. Malacca Police have received 10 reports on alleged manipulation in PKR's e-voting system. State Police Chief Dato' Raja Sharum Raja Abdullah said 4 reports were lodged in Malacca Tengah District, while 6 others in Alor Gajah from last Saturday until yesterday. He also said among the complaints were that some individuals claimed to be party members, however their names were not in the voting list. He added based on the reports received, there were no elements of crime and authorities have handed the reports to the PKR headquarters for further action. Last Sunday, 2 candidates for the Tangga Batu Division Chief Post, alias Abdul Wahab and Abdullah Ali, aged 59 and 48 respectively, lodged police reports alleging that the e-voting system was not transparent and that there were elements of sabotage. The duo also called on the party's Central Election Committee to resolve the issue. An early morning fire destroyed 6 outlets at a food court at Kampung Tengah Cukai in Kemaman, causing nearly R500,000 in losses to 6 traders. District Fire and Rescue Department's Chief Muhammad Zailani Abdullah said the 8:20 am fire was believed to have started from the kitchen of one of the food outlets when the food operators were busy setting up shops. 19 firefighters were deployed to the scene and they took 15 minutes to put out at the blaze. However, about 95% of the food court were already destroyed. Fortunately, no casualties were reported and the cause of the fire is still under investigation. In Pulau Pinang, search and rescue SAR operations or SAR operations at the site of the Bukit Kukus landslide, which enters its 5th day today, will be called off if there are no new leads or recoveries. State Fire and Rescue Department Director Sa'adun Mukhtar said for now, his team will continue to remove and clear the landslide debris in search for the last victim, a Bangladeshi man identified as Muhammad Rahas. Sadun also said the K9 sniffer dog unit will be making its final rounds to ensure that there are no more victims in the area. He added there was also a big possibility that the recovery operation will end today. Up until yesterday, a total of 9 bodies were recovered from the rubble, all of them migrant workers, comprising 5 Bangladeshi men, 3 Indonesian men and 1 Myanmar woman. 4 other migrant workers were injured, 2 of them Indonesian women and 1 Cambodian woman, while a Bangladeshi man identified as Shamim is still in intensive care unit at the Pulau Pinang hospital. Coming up, how playing with a phone got this woman's fingers paralyzed. The details next. Now remember, take a break from using your smartphone and be more active instead, okay? All right, moving on to updated as of 7 p.m. Here are the top trending topics and searches on the internet today. The government is opening its door to German automakers to participate in the 3rd National Car Project. Deputy International Trade and Industry Minister Ong Kian Ming said there were a lot of German car companies established in Malaysia. When met after the exchange of a memorandum of understanding on the Malaysia-Germany strategic collaboration, he said such companies have been very successful in assembling completely knocked down or CKD vehicles with a lot of local content.
I think there are a lot of German car companies that are already here in operations. A lot of them doing very successful CKDs with a lot of local content. So this is clearly something which, if let's say German companies are interested in exploring opportunities in the third national car project, we are willing and open to listen to any proposals.
On whether any proposals have been received from these automakers, Ong said an announcement would be made in the future. National Institute of Entrepreneurship, or INSCEN, will continue to focus on helping fledgling entrepreneurs in boosting their competitiveness. Speaking at the soft launch of the Global Marketing Summit GMS earlier today, its Chief Executive Officer Muhammad Firdaus Azharuddin said the goal is to push these entrepreneurs to foray into the global market.
Menyeru kepada usahawan-usahawan yang ada di Malaysia, tolong belajar daripada macam mana cara syarikat-syarikat antarabangsa melakukan jualan, melakukan marketing, melakukan branding supaya mereka perlu berdaing saing.
The GMS Summit, scheduled to be held on November 8, will take a peek at how multinational corporations run their businesses successfully. Established in 2005, INSCEN is tasked with providing entrepreneurship training and guidance programs for existing and future local entrepreneurs. The International Trade and Industry Ministry has reaffirmed its commitment to ensure foreign investments are equally divided between Peninsular Malaysia, Sabah and Sarawak. Its Minister Darryl Leaking said his ministry had ensured the equal division of potential investments brought in by the government to all three said regions.
Misi galakan ini juga telah berjaya menarik potensi pelaburan berjumlah 2.13 bilion daripada Jepun, terutamanya dalam industri petrokimia, logistik, peralatan perubatan, elektrik dan elektronik, perkakas rumah dan perabot. Dan dalam juga masa ini di mana adanya business to business meeting antara syarikat-syarikat yang bersama dengan kita dalam misi pelaburan, adanya potensi sebanyak 33 juta telah secured lah, at least dengan izin B2B antara syarikat dan juga syarikat Malaysia dan syarikat di Osaka dan Tokyo.
He also said his ministry would continue the trade and investment missions next year, focusing on major trading and strategic partners such as ASEAN, the United States and China. Media Prima Berhad has joined the likes of BBC News, Vice and Bloomberg by teaming up with leading online video streaming platform Dailymotion to expand its digital outreach globally. The partnership allows Dailymotion's over 300 million monthly users to access video content produced by Media Prima. The group's television network's CEO Johan Ishak said the move was in line with the group's plans to ramp up its digital content segment, especially at the Asia-Pacific level.
Dan kita sekarang ni apabila kita mengkaji semula behavior tadilah, bagaimana orang menonton TV dan juga consume konten di internet dan sebagainya, memang di kalangan golongan muda ni memang cara dorang consume konten ni dah berlainan. So kita punya strategi saya panggil democratizing content. Okay. Daripada televisyen tu, dia bukan sahaja di televisyen, dia akan bersebar.
He said this after the signing ceremony of a memorandum of understanding between Media Prima and Dailymotion earlier today. Also present were Media Prima Operations Director Datuk Kamal Khalid and Dailymotion Asia Pacific Content Deputy President Antoine Nazak. Johan added the live broadcast of the Anugerah Screen 2018, scheduled on November 2nd, will mark the first phase of the Media Prima Dailymotion promotion partnership. Media Prima is the third largest digital media company in Malaysia after Google and Facebook, with digital audience reaching up to 10.4 million. The group also saw its digital revenue increase to 44.8 million ringgit for the 6-month period ended June 30th, 2018, compared with 14.9 million ringgit a year ago. Still ahead, thousands evacuated as monster hurricane Willa descends on Mexico. We'll be right back.